Good morning. Welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View this morning. How are you feeling? Yeah, me too. Gotta be honest. It's just shy, isn't it? Martin O'Neill. We're going to listen to Martin O'Neill about his interview yesterday, and I'm going to let you listen first of all from a very experienced player at Celtic. And, you know, he gets a lot of respect. And I've got to say, the first half yesterday, midfield was brilliant. Callum was making good positions. Callum was making great crosses. He brought out the best in Callum McGregor. But bringing Alex Oxlade Chamberlain to Celtic, was it too late in the season?
Team, we all have the same mindset. We're going into the games with the same objective to win. But yeah, when you talk about it in that sense, home games, you do definitely want to win.
You do definitely want to win. Well, we know this. We knew this yesterday. We knew that there was no slip-ups. There was no room for manoeuvres when it comes to the SPFL table. It is still mathematical that we could win the league until it is mathematically impossible. The great managers say it, doesn't it? The great managers all say that. Until it's mathematically impossible for us to win the league, we will keep fighting on. And yeah, we will as Celtic. But I think that we all know and we all realise that I've been banging on about it for long enough. Goal difference. 21 goals of a goal difference. Motherwell are on 27 for the season. Rangers are on 26 for the season. Hearts are on 27 for the season. Do we really expect... I mean, we've got Motherwell in a couple of weeks. Motherwell won 5-0 at the weekend. That is not the performance levels of champions. We can believe and we can still think that, yeah, maybe 1986 is going to happen. But yeah, 1986 is going to happen. But Hearts are going to get their revenge. But where do we go from here as supporters, and where do we go from here as fans? And how long is Austin Trusty out for? I was very angry down in Austin. And I get it, players are all pulling each other, and referees need to be a bit stronger in Scotland. The referee did say to Martin, well, what did he say to Martin? Let's listen to Martin on that exact subject.
Well, I've just spoken to the referee, and the referee, to begin with, has just he said that if VAR hadn't have intervened, that he was going to speak to the two players and just stop holding each other. That's what he said himself, and that was fine, and I think that would have been the right decision. So VAR have come and intervened and said it's violent conduct. Well, listen, I've given up on those things now.
He's given up on those things. That is the kind of talk that we had from Neil Lennon 5 years ago. It was 5 years ago this week that Neil Lennon stepped down as manager of Celtic. I'm sure it was this week. It was all over for Lenny in the 10 in a row season. Bringing back Neil Lennon, giving them the job for the 10 in the showers at Hampden. As the hierarchy at Celtic, the 10 was always going to be the hardest. I said that at the time. I said that under the Ronnie years. I thought, well, we will get to the 9. I was convinced at the time we would get to the 9 and we would retain the 9 and we would do the 9 for the second time in our history. Not many clubs have done it twice. Celtic have. But Neil Lennon, that season, had far too many draws. The issue with Celtic this season is they've had too many losses. 7 losses in a season does not win you league titles. 11 draws in a season doesn't really win you league titles. The form of a team that looks as if it is going to win the championship, and it's theirs to throw away now. Winning 1-0 against Falkirk. I said they don't need high scoring games. They've got the goals already. They've made the goals up. They only need to win 1-0. Win ugly between now and the end of the season. That's all McInnes needs to say to his team. We can't even win ugly. A 7th loss of the season. And it is not what Celtic fans are used to over the last 10 years. Now, what does this do? Does it take us back to 1990 standards? Yes, it does. Finishing third in the league, we've now got a fight for 4th position, because when it comes to the split, we're going to play Hearts, we're going to play Rangers, we're going to play Motherwell, we're going to play Hibernian, and we're going to play Falkirk. Every team in the top 6 will think that they will beat Falkirk. Every team in the top 6 will think that they can beat Celtic. That's hard. That is hard, because never in the last 26 years have we felt like this. It's been a good run. It has been a good run. Don't know, since Martin O'Neill come in the first time, yes, they had a little blip where they won 3 in a row during the sort of the mid 2010s going into the teens. Celtic were losing their way a bit. We brought in Tony Mowbray and stuff, if next season Martinez is to be the manager, will Celtic play any different? Will we be able to attract a better standard of player? And will the Celtic spend the cash? Martin O'Neill has said that we can't compete financially for the Europa. Well, there's a good thing. We won't even have to try and qualify for the Champions League next year, so we'll be heading for the Europa. For a lot of years, a lot of Celtic fans have said that Europa's our standard. It's not been our standard this year. And there's one thing, we're going to have a fight in our hands to even get into the Europa next season. Or it will even be the Europa. Is it the conference you go into in 3rd position? I've no idea. Will we need to win the Scottish Cup to get into Europa? Can we win the Scottish Cup? That's the biggest game of the season now for Celtic. And it is the Scottish Cup. When you look at the games that are coming up, I mean, it's the end. It's the time of the season that we used to call Celtic time. It used to be the time that Celtic would turn up, and this is when Celtic would kick on. Oxlade Chamberlain says we need consistency. Do you know, it used to be the fact that we would up our game in the second half. That's not even happening now. When you see the games that are coming up, I don't know if I want. I'm being serious here, mate. I'm just between me and you. I just want to go and hide behind the sofa. I mean, Stuttgart. Whilst there may be 3,000 Celtic fans heading over, and they'll have a fantastic trip, and it's the last away day of the season. When it comes to Europe, they're then thinking about pre-season competitions. If Celtic get their act together and actually have a decent pre-season that fans can go to. And that's been the difference over the last couple of years as well. I used to love going to pre-season games. It was fantastic. And Celtic have decided to go on their journeys over the years and go to far-flung places like America and stuff, which is all great for the fans. But last year, we didn't really do anything. Pre-season was a damp squib. We're going to have to try and get a manager in soon. Will Martin O'Neill see out the end of the season, and will Celtic get a manager in as soon as possible? Because by delaying getting the next manager in, by allowing the club to make decisions on Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, to allow the club to make decisions on Kelechi Iheanacho, to allow the club to make decisions on all the other loan players that we have at Celtic, whether we retain their services or whether we don't retain their services. That should be the next manager's decision. Has there conversations been had with the next potential managers so that they are watching Celtic right now? They are watching the squad. Is there any? I mean, there won't be any dialogue between the next manager and the hierarchy at Celtic, because Martin O'Neill's manager. You need to focus on Martin O'Neill. The hierarchy at Celtic want to have us all unity together. Back in Martin O'Neill between now and the end of the season. Yesterday, our esteemed hierarchy CEO. Let me just get the pictures up. He was outside the stadium. He was outside the stadium speaking to the boys' ultras in this picture. And he's all smiles. Smiles to your face. But where does it take Celtic? Celtic 1, Hibernian 2. The first time since 2010. First time since 2010 that Celtic have been beaten at home by Hibs. We weren't winning the league then. We're definitely not winning the league now. As much as I want to be confident, and I look at the games that are coming up, I thought that this is a really hard month, but I thought we could have done it against Hibs at home. I thought the home advantage thing, and is it people say, well, we need atmosphere. There was a good atmosphere at the game yesterday. The team was getting right. The fans were getting right behind the team. You can't blame it on the lack of atmosphere and the lack of the fans giving it a go. The players just lost the plot. Martin O'Neill made the change. Martin O'Neill knew that Oxlade Chamberlain couldn't last the 90 minutes. Rio Hatate and Dyson Maeda did not have one shot on goal. Dyson Maeda and Rio Hatate need dropped from this Celtic team. I know that they are good players, and I know that they have had some fantastic service for Celtic over the years, but you cannot allow players to not put in effort. Rio Hatate swans around that midfield as if it's as if he's actually trying to hide from getting the ball past to him. And Dyson Maeda can make things look like he's trying, but we know that Dyson's not even 80%, and it saddens me. It does. Really saddens me this Monday morning that could it be the exact same as the 10 season? Is it the fact that we are on the 23rd of February, around about the same time that Neil Lennon decided enough was enough? And but Lenny was a way further back in points wise. Are we doing this team? Do you really believe? There's a lot of people in the comments said, look, it's still in our hands. Martin O'Neill believes it's still in our hands. Do you really believe that? Because is the game getting played again? This is a bit freaky. I went back onto Google. I've got a time machine. I'm going to show you the screen. I went back onto Google and it's 23 minutes into the game. And it's 0-0. Oh, there we go. The Google glitch is sorted. I'm glad that Google did that. And I'll move the Google screen up and down just to show that it wasn't me. It was completely Google. Oh, that was the gods trying to help us out. And it didn't work. Oh man. You can't make it up. Honestly. I'm so glad I got that on camera. We need to have a bit of a laugh, and there's one thing back in the 1990s, because this is how I feel now. I've never felt this since the 1990s. As bad as this, even when we lost the league for that 3 seasons in a row during the 2010s, we always believed that we could get better. Yes, I believe that we can get better, but the reality is that we're going to struggle on to the end of the season. The next manager's got a massive, massive rebuild, huge rebuild. The Celtic squad as it stands, Kasper Schmeichel, indecision yesterday again, cost us from Kasper. Another game where he's a little bit indecisive in getting the ball out. That's a goalkeeper that's struggling with confidence. And it's not often that you talk about a goalkeeper struggling with confidence and indecision, especially one at Casper Schmeichel's age, especially one with Casper Schmeichel's experience. You can maybe say that of Sinisalo. Ross Dohan, he's older than Sinisalo. I mean, he was first choice for Aberdeen last year, and he's now getting on the bench for Celtic. It's all a bit strange, that one. Alistair Johnson was away watching his other favourite sport, hockey, at the weekend. He's injured, and I thought it was unfair the amount of stick that he got online. He's injured. He doesn't need to be at Celtic Park. He's maybe been, don't know, people will say that, well, he should be there. Should be there back in the team. Is Cameron Carter-Vickers there? Maybe the players have been told to go and get some medical treatment somewhere. I don't know. But I just think it's a bit unfair. People giving Alistair Johnson complete stick online for not being at the game yesterday when he is injured. You know, it's like giving Jota stick when he's been out injured for a year. Liam Scales and Austin Trusty. It's like having Laurel and Hardy at the back. And it's crazy. This is how crazy a season it's been. Earlier on in the season, we were looking at Liam Scales and thinking that he was potentially player of the season material. It's crazy, isn't it? Player of the season, Liam Scales. And I said that his shirt pulling and things, and you know, he was unlucky yesterday, some people could say. But Austin Trusty was brought in to take over from Liam Scales. The hierarchy, and this goes back to several managers. This is not just, we can blame all we want on Liam Scales and Austin Trusty, but Brendan Rodgers didn't bring players in to replace Scales and Trusty of a decent quality. We knew that Wilfred Nancy brought in a Rocco. Maybe we were all wrong about Wilfred Nancy. You know, maybe, I mean, he could certainly spot a player, and bringing in a Rocco, he's been one of the shining stars since the beginning of the year. You know, maybe Wilfred Nancy was actually a bit better than what we give him credit for. And maybe it is just this team that are absolutely shit. When you look at Sriracha, he's on loan. His valuation has went up. I don't think Celtic will get him in the summer. Just being honest. And then you look at Benjamin Arthur, who's came in on loan. He will now play the next 2 games with Liam Scales. He looks a bit of a machine, doesn't he? Athletic. Do you know, he's got everything that ticks the boxes for Celtic, but he's not a Celtic player. He's only on loan to the end of the season. Came to Celtic to make him better. Well, he's got his chance now. And if he plays well in the next 2 games, do you allow Austin Trusty to walk back into the team? Maybe you can tell me that in the questions, in the comments this morning. And then you've got young Dane Murray, who seems to be right out the picture just now because Benjamin Arthur has came back in. Colby Donovan on the bench. Tony Ralston. Question marks will be put up against him in the summer. Tony Ralston will only be allowed to leave if we bring in another Scottish player. Are there Scottish players out there that can make Celtic better? Is there anyone better in that position than Tony Ralston? Tony Ralston gets a start for Scotland because there's no one better in that position for him on the international stage as far as the Scotland manager is concerned. Benji Negrin, what would we do without Benji? He's not, for 1.6 million, 1.75 million, he's been the best buy of the season. He's been the best buy of the season, and his goals, without his goals, where would Celtic be? Luke McCown, he's meant to think it's frustrating. Alex Oxlade Chamberlain, you could see the quality that guy has. That's the type of quality that Celtic want to bring in. Celtic fans want to bring in. But the reality is that we're getting Oxlade Chamberlain at 32 years old. Yes, I think he should get a contract next season. Will he want to stay at Celtic is another thing completely, because Celtic will not be in the Champions League. I think that we'll struggle to be in the Europa, and we could be in one of the lower leagues in Europe. Will he want to hang around for that? It's a bit of a fall from grace. Arne Engels, out injured. He'll be gone in the summer. Paulo Bernardo, not getting any game time. If I'm him, I'm wanting away in the summer. Rio Hatate, I think there's many fans that would actually book a taxi to get Rio Hatate away from Celtic. Callum McGregor, I've got to say, Callum had a good game yesterday. Some of the passes to Tierney were spot on. Looping passes that landed right at Tierney's feet. Callum's out there on that left-hand side of the pitch, playing the position that he likes to play, the position that he played the majority of his career. He had a better game yesterday until Rio Hatate came on. Which is disappointing. When you look at the forwards, Junior Adamu couldn't get on the pitch yesterday because the manager decided to go with the tried and trusted that scored 30 odd goals last season. Yes, he went with Dyson Maeda. Dyson Maeda, who didn't even have one shot on goal. Doesn't look interested. Seemingly when he came off the tee bus yesterday, he's not interested. James Forrest is at the stage where he should be hanging up his boots and saying, I've had a fantastic career. James Forrest will walk away from Celtic this summer, the same as what Scott Brown did, by not winning anything that season. And that's devastating for the likes of James Forrest. It was devastating for Scott Brown, for having all the success that you can have at Celtic, having won trebles. You know, James is the most decorated player at Celtic, and for him to end his career this way would be really disappointing. Sebastian Tenecti, he needs to stop thinking he's a superstar. Callum Osmond, he'll be a bright spark for Celtic next season. He'll be like a new player. Joel Mavuka, he looks as if he's on loan at Celtic, and I mean, we've got the option to buy, but he's not getting anywhere near the team. Young lad up, full of enthusiasm, has a bit of skill, and just not going to be given the chance at Celtic, I'm afraid. Yang, will he be around in the summer? He was sold for $3 million last year. Will he take up that option again this summer and say, look, I'm wanting out of here, I want to go and try something else? Big Tam the Czech. Is he any better than Johnny Kenny? He's got a higher price tag, but is he really any better than Johnny Kenny? Mikeland Balikwisha. A lot of people saying, I seen a thing on yesterday that our ex-manager was due an apology. Brendan Rodgers due an apology. Brendan Rodgers brought in the majority of these players. Brendan Rodgers chased Mikael Ange Balikwisha for 2 years. There's one thing, when Jota comes back to pre-season, it'll be like a new signing for Celtic. But how good will Jota be? It is a massive, massive, massive summer for Celtic Football Club. And whilst disappointment is temporary and liquidation is permanent, we will get over this. We will. We've got a couple of games this week. You know, we might win against Rangers. We might draw against Rangers in the league. But the big game for us is the Scottish Cup at Ibrox with 7,000 Celtic fans in the Broomloan stand. That's the must-win game now. Everything else, I don't think that the players have got the... When you've seen the way that we ended the league last season, when you've seen the way that we pittered out, we're kind of doing the same this season. But anyway, try and have a fantastic morning wherever you are. And I'll see you on the next video.